Good morning, friends. I'm going to make a microphone adjustment. That was more than I meant to do. The prelude this morning was shopping locally. This hot off the press by local composer, pianist extraordinaire Jennifer Bowman. And I was doing a program with her, and I said, "Oh, I love those." She goes, "I just got published in London. They're jazz nocturnes." And I said, "Oh, I would love to play some of those at church." And she said, Here's a book." And Jennifer's been a friend of the congregation for years, so I'll eke them out a few at a time. It's nice that we have such talented people here in Olympia. Rylee has requested this morning song. It's called "The Heart of It All," and it's going to be up here on the screen. It's by a kind of a folk country composer. His name is Herb Tyson. I'm assuming he pronounces the H, Herb, and not Herb Tyson. And there's a chorus. Can we get the chorus up there? There we go. No. The chorus is, "It begins with the heart. When you answer love's call." There we go. It begins with the heart. And I'm going to teach this to you, and then I'm going to have you sing the chorus every time. But the truth is, the verse sounds a lot like the chorus. And if you catch on, you can just sing along with the verse. It begins with the heart. When you answer love's call. And the reason we give and the reason we live is for the heart of it all. Try it again. It begins with the heart. When you answer love's call. And the reason we give and the reason we live is for the heart of it all. And you can't stay too long on reason we live is for the heart of it all. Let's do it one more time. Ready? And it begins with the heart. When you answer love's call, and the reason we give and the reason we live is for the heart of it all. All right, you can go back to those beginning ones. I'll sing the verses, but you're welcome to join. Be brave, it's just 4 chords for the whole song. From the moment we're born, with every beat of your heart, there's an endless flow of the love, and you know each one of us is a part. When you wake in the morn and you see the sunrise, drawing strength from the love and the light from above, and you realize, here it is, it begins with the heart. When we answer love's call, and the reason we give and the reason we live is for the heart of it all. Every road that you choose, every path that you take, every day, every night, how we live in our life is a choice that we make. Every heart that you lift, every burden you ease, every hand that you hold, all the ways that you sow, helps the world find peace. And it begins with the heart. When you answer love's call, and the reason we live and the reason we give is the heart of it all. I don't know if the answer can ever be found, but the justice we seek and the truth that we speak are the common ground. In the moment of truth, when you answer love's call, go wherever love goes, let what everyone knows is for the heart of it all. Here we go. And it begins with the heart. When we answer love's call, and the reason we give and the reason we live is for the heart of it. And again we do it. Yes, it begins with the heart. When we answer love's call, and the reason we give and the reason we live is for the heart. brilliant. We're ready to go on the road. Thank you. Welcome to the Olympia UU congregation. We envision an interconnected world that is loving, just, and healthy. We commit to live out our mission to welcome and wonder, embrace and empower, bridge and become. Thank you for joining us today. You're welcome here just as you are, whatever beliefs sustain you, whomever you love, however you understand and express yourself, and all the ways you're becoming to be. My name is Kurt Hill. I prefer he, him pronouns. I'm a member of the worship arts team. Joining me in worship this morning is our guest, Rylee Uhrich, and our esteemed music director, Troy Fisher. Give it up for Troy. Here are a few things to know about our service this morning. We're streaming live on Zoom and YouTube, and there will be subtitles, as you can see right there on the screen in front of me. Over here, we have comfy chairs and activities for your hands so that anyone can be comfortable. Yes, including you. Activities for your... That's right, that's right. We're a multi-generational community. We value our young ones. Kids, babies, and teens are welcome in the sanctuary. There's also a nursery care and storytime program in the classroom wing. We're grateful for the many hands that make worship happen this morning. Thank you for all who contribute in so many ways. After the service, everyone will have a chance to discuss reflection questions offered by Rylee. If you're online, we invite you to join a virtual breakout for a virtual coffee chat. And for those of you in person, please feel free for coffee and discussion in the Commons after service. There are many things happening at OUUC. Please check out the Tuesday electronic update or the website for the latest information. Now, let us open our hearts and minds as we prepare to worship. It is good to be together. This morning, we join universal Unitarian congregations around the world in lighting a chalice, a symbol of our faith tradition. If you're online and you have a chalice or candle, please join us as we light our chalices together to the words of Eric Walker Wickstrom. The stars in the pews. Each of the stars in the heavens is unique, an individual, yet together they form the night sky. Each of us here is unique, an individual, yet together we form a congregation. Each of our congregations is unique, an individual, yet together we are an association. For the stars in the sky, the people in the pews, the members of our association, in gratitude, we light this chalice. And we light this candle in honor of Reverend Mary Geer, our settled minister on her 5th week of sabbatical. We light our candle here each week to help sustain our bond with her and stay present to the spirit of renewal. We know her matching candle will light her way home to us in November.
Good morning. I'm Rylee, and I use they and she pronouns. The message I bring for today's service comes from my time attending General Assembly, and I'll also be providing a little bit of historical perspective about the Article 2 revision of the values statement. Since it will be a little heady later, we'll open with a grounding practice. Please be in whatever way is comfortable for you. You are welcome to sit, stand, or move. You can have your eyes open or closed. If at any point you lose track of the words I'm speaking, it's okay to relax into your own experience. There's no right way. Following your intuition will be your best guide. Grounding is a chance to invite yourself to arrive here more fully and open to connection in whatever way serves you. Beginning from noticing your breath, and calling together any scattered points of focus, inviting them to settle into the rhythm of your breath. And just noticing where your focus wants to pull or settle. And inviting your breath to guide you down into your body, feeling your seat or maybe your feet on the ground. And just relaxing into that pull of gravity for this moment. Letting things settle. Letting yourself arrive. Can feel perhaps like water flowing down, letting things drift away, perhaps letting your focus travel down into the earth, into the ground below you. Just noticing that big earth energy below that is supporting and holding all of us. If there's anything that needs to be released into the earth, we can do that with the breath. And whenever you're ready, pulling some of that energy up into your body, that connected sense of place, grounded here. And letting that energy rise with your breath, coming up through your body. And in whatever way feels right, letting your focus travel up, perhaps shooting upward like a beam of light into the stars, or perhaps just gently drifting and flowing. Or like a flower turning towards the sun, just opening. Noticing that overhead, celestial sky place, and inviting that energy of above as a source of strength into your body. And again, breathing with that. Welcome to worship for today. Welcome to your body for this moment. Breathing in this middle place and letting yourself move and returning to this moment. Come, let us worship together.
Let's sing together again, shall we? This is a song, Here Together, by UU composer and music director David Glasgow. And we've sung the reprise of this song over the past 6 or 7 years numerous times. But at the GA this year, they did the whole piece with the verses and everything with a virtual choir. So I'll be the virtual verses, and you can be the virtual chorus. I'll remind you how the chorus goes. We are here together in this holy moment, and we're grateful for the winding road that brought us to this place. You good? Here's a verse. There is a place I love to call my own. There is a peace I only feel in sharing it with you, in letting you share too. It makes the welcome feel more real. Here we go. We are here together in this holy moment, and we're grateful for the winding road that brought us to this place. Singing alone, it lets my heart shine through, but there is a music in your soul that joins its voice with mine. It's only then that we find the kind of peace we know is true. Here we go. We are here together in this holy moment, and we're grateful for the winding road that brought us to this place. Even a word that left me bruised before, even a name I've learned to fear, is welcome in this place. It helps me see the face of God to greet my outcasts here. We are here together in this holy moment, and we're grateful for the winding road that brought us to this place. Let's change the lyrics. We will spend time together in this holy moment. Gives us strength to go down the winding road until we meet again. We will spend time together, and these holy moments give us strength to go down the winding road until we meet again. Gives us strength to go down the winding road until we meet again. Thank you for singing.
Once there was a man who married and took a wife. Every few days he would come home in a temper, and she would feel badly about it. She said, "Oh, my husband, this will never do. You are often coming home in a very bad temper." "Yes, when things go in town that upset me," he said, "I am likely to come home in a temper. But this will never do," she said, "because I also have a very bad temper. And if we are both in a bad temper on the same day, who knows what may happen?" "You must give me a sign so that I'll know that you are coming home in a temper, and so that I'll make allowances for you." "Yes, you're right," he said. "That's a good idea." In those days, the men used to wear on their heads a red fez with a long black tassel hanging down. So he said, "I'll put the tassel of my fez toward the front on a day that I am coming home in a temper. When you see the tassel hanging at the front, you'll know that I'm in a temper, and whatever I say or whatever my words may be, you mustn't feel bad or take them to heart." She said, "That's a good idea. But what am I going to do when I'm in a temper? I know, I'll also give you a sign. I'll wear a white apron. So when you see me wearing a white apron, you'll know I'm in a temper, and you may put up with me." "All right," he said. She began to wait for him every day about the time of his return and to watch from the window. She could look out and see, when he reached the top of the street, if he put a tassel on the front of his fez. When she saw him coming home, stamping along with the tassel swinging back and forth at the front of his fez, she would quickly get out her white apron and put it on. When her husband came in and saw her wearing the white apron, he moved the tassel toward the back of his fez, for it wouldn't do for both of them to be in that temper at the same time, or they might take their anger out on one another. So, when her husband came in, time after time, twice, thrice, and again, the same thing happened. Finally, the husband said, "Oh, my wife, your fits of temper come at the same time as my temper. They come together." "Oh, my husband," she said, "please give up your bad habit, and I will give up mine. A temper does no good. Allah has given us human beings wisdom, but temper drives out wisdom. If you're in a temper in the city, what excuse have you for coming home in a temper? So my temper goes with your temper, but I can control and put aside my temper. I beg you to also put aside your temper and not bring it home with you." "Indeed, you're quite right," he said. So from that time onward, when he lost his temper in town, he gave up his temper on the way home, and he did not put the tassel on the front of his fez. Neither he nor she gave rein to their tempers at home, and this went a long way towards helping them live happily ever after. Each Sunday, we engage in the spiritual practices of generosity and gratitude by joining together in service of our community and in something greater than ourselves. We each have the power to share, and when we combine our gifts to create something greater than ourselves, to create an offering, together we're able to do more than any of us can do alone. We also express our gratitude for the gifts that life has given us, for the network of relationships in which we live, and for the presence of our community. If you are new or visiting us for the first time, we don't expect you to contribute. However, if you do, your gifts are gratefully received. This offering here does two things. It helps support the ongoing work of our congregation, which are, of course, supported by irregular pledges. And the offering supports an organization that serves our community in harmony with our Unitarian Universalist values. Our Share the Plate organization for July and August is the South Sound Reading Foundation. This is what they share.
Hello, Olympia Unitarian Universalist congregation. I'm Jennifer Williamson Forster, and I have the best job in the world because I get to work at the South Sound Reading Foundation. At the Reading Foundation, we educate families about the importance of reading. We get kids excited about reading through our reading engagement programming, like story times and book talks. But we're most known for our free books for kids programming. These are books kids get to choose, keep, read, reread, and cherish. Our program relies heavily on donated books, and we rarely receive bilingual books or books that reflect the rich diversity of our community. Your Share the Plate funding will allow us to purchase books, some bilingual and all featuring diverse characters that reflect and resonate with the children, youth, and families we serve. I have a cold, so I apologize. Often the children who need access to books most do not have it. Here's a statistic. 61% of low-income households have no age-appropriate books in the home. Research shows that access to books, especially ones that interest and reflect the reader, improve reading and reading outcomes, which impact school performance, graduation rates, and lifetime earnings. Access to books is key. So thank you to the Share the Plate Committee and everyone at the Olympia Unitarian Universalist congregation for helping us get great, high-interest, diverse books to kids in our community who need them most. Now, before I sign off, here are some ways you can support our important literacy work. I should say some other ways. 1, donate children's books or host a book drive. We are in desperate need of bilingual books and diverse books, but also board books, beginning readers, and graphic novels. 2, promote us on social media. That's easy. 3, volunteer. Help us process books, deliver books, or join us at one of our many community events where we're sharing books with children and youth in our community. And number 4, help us by getting the children in your life to become strong readers. You could do this by 1, reading with them 20 minutes a day, which is our motto. 2, giving them books on special occasions like birthdays and the holidays. And 3, this is a really hard one, normalize reading for them. Show them that you love reading. And if they see the adults in their life reading for pleasure, they'll develop a love of reading. So that's it. Thank you all and happy reading adventures.
May the offering now be generously given as it is gratefully received.
Thank you for your generous gifts. We came together this morning bringing all that is in our lives. Let us open our hearts to the complexity of life as we place stones in the water of community. You will hear a drum beat as we share today. It brings into our awareness that our individual heartbeats beat together, and we create the heartbeat of community. Right now, I invite you to take a breath as we open our hearts to receive the complexity of all that is in our lives and our communities today. We place a stone in the water for the tender and overwhelming feelings that can arise around uncertainties about our path forward as a nation. For those online, I invite you to share from your heart by entering in the chat. Those in the sanctuary can see your sharing on the screen. For those in person today, I invite you to come forward if there is something you would like to bring into this community. You may place a stone into the water as you hold your sharing in your heart. Please come up through the side aisle and return by the center aisle. Let us hear the heartbeat of our community and reach out our hearts in love and care to all those who share. We place a stone in the water for all that has been shared online, shared from the heart. We will place one more stone in the water for all that we hold in our hearts and that remain unspoken. Now we will take a moment to reconnect to our grounding practice. Please be in whatever way is comfortable for you. You're welcome to sit, stand, or move. You can have your eyes open or closed. Taking a breath and just noticing the earth below, resting down into that presence of the earth. And breathing in some of that connection to earth. Letting your energy also reach up and out to the sky. Noticing the ever-present stars that are overhead, even when we cannot see them during the day. Breathing with those stars. Let us hold a moment of silence together.
Let's sing together, Spirit of Life. It's hymn number 123 in the Gray Hymnal.
For today's message, we're going to start with a bit of history of the revision of the National UU's organization's value statement. If you love history, please enjoy this nerdy moment. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I promise it's not all like this. The abbreviated version of this history section is that Unitarian-Universalists have revised our collective statement of values several times since originally writing them in 1961. The major rewrites happened in 1985 and 2024. That's right, this just happened. That's why we're talking about it. Okay, here we go. We're gonna do some shared back and forth. History. In 1979, Reverend Eugene Pickett was elected president of the UUA. During his speech at that General Assembly, he urged people to reconsider what words are used to express our beliefs, saying,
"The deeper malaise lies in our confusion as to what word we have to spread. The old watchwords of liberalism, freedom, reason, tolerance, worthy though they may be, are simply not catching the imagination of the contemporary world. They describe a process for approaching the religious depths, but they testify to no intimate acquaintance with the depths themselves. If we are ever to speak to a new age, we must supplement our seeking with some profound religious finds."
Meanwhile, during the 1970s, the UU's Women Federation and other groups were focused on removing sexist language from UU rhetoric. Based on that work at the 1981 General Assembly, a non-sexist rewrite of the Principles and Purposes was proposed. A special committee was created to review the proposal and find ways of including as many voices as possible in that process. In 1985, those principles, the ones that we knew until very recently for the most part, were adopted. In the year 2000, 15 years after the adoption of those rewritten principles, and around the time when those words could have been up for revision again, Reverend Walter Royal Jones, who is one of the members of that committee that wrote the Principles and Purposes, is quoted in a UU World article discussing the decision not to review the principles in 2000 and how people are feeling about it. He says,
"On the one hand, some are uneasy with what they see as a kind of creeping creedalism in the way we use the principles. On the other, there is a perception of incompleteness with important, arguably necessary, empowering assumptions about cosmic reality and our particular place in that principles leave unsaid. Still others are dissatisfied with what they see as excessive emphasis on the individual, so that the creative nature of community and interdependence are only tardily and inadequately acknowledged.
Reverend Diane Miller was another member of that original special committee. She was chosen to join because she was a young woman and a feminist minister. In 2023, in a UU World article, she discussed the really recent revision process, acknowledging that some people may feel upset, but encouraging people to embrace the process, saying,
"If there's anything I could say that would reduce the anxiety about the upcoming revisions and help people to see there's nothing really going to be lost, it's that there will be new ways of teaching and conveying this to children and adults and newcomers that will emerge just as they did for the ones we have now. And I also think people should enjoy the chance to do theology publicly, to talk about the most important guiding principles and values of our lives, and be able to do that with other people who share a lot of the same feelings and values you have is a great opportunity. And yes, there's a certain amount of wordsmithing. You might not see everything you like in the final version, but to engage this is to really ask, what are we about?
1 month ago, at General Assembly 2024, a new revision of the Article 2 principles, which are now called Values and Covenant, was finalized and adopted. It's a little confusing because we just said the word principles many times, but going forward, I'll be referring to values in alignment with the new title. Okay, now it gets a little bit less like a history book. This year, I attended General Assembly, which is the annual business meeting for the denomination in America. It's a time to connect with each other from around the country and provide guidance to our national organization through electing leaders, as well as voting on other business. As I reflected on the experience, two things stood out to me about the General Assembly and about my deepening understanding of Unitarian Universalism. The first thing is that we UUs have strong opinions that differ from each other. Amongst us, there are polarizing differences, and it can be a struggle to stay grounded and even respectful when those differences are discussed. Like the husband and wife in today's story, there is still work to be done on how we hold space for and hold boundaries about bad tempers. The second thing that stood out to me is that we UUs are so exquisitely spiritual, but in a way that can be easy to miss or misunderstand. I found that spirituality was woven into the business meetings. I heard faith in the business resolution titled Embracing Transgender, Non-Binary, and Intersex People as a Fundamental Expression of UU Religious Values. I felt it in the fervent, if not always polite, discussion from both sides. I danced to it in the lyrics of so much beautiful, co-created music for the many worship services, and I saw it in the votes that affirmed love, challenged ableism and empire, and moved forward resoundingly into change and newness. Yet, even though UU spiritual practice was evident to me, sometimes it can feel hard to explain to people of other denominations or no denomination that there is coherent and meaningful faith and faith practices in our tradition. Sometimes it can be hard to prove it to each other or ourselves. I think this attempt at proof is part of what leads UUs to spend a lot of time wordsmithing for precision. It's as if we are grinding a lens, bringing it slowly into focus. And by switching out the word our for the, we will have more clarity and cohesion. Wordsmithing is one of our collective prophetic processes that sometimes feels like a tedious business meeting, and yet it is one of our brilliant gems. We UUs are extremely diligent at gathering as many voices as possible into one honed statement and taking years in that process to honor the work. Reverend Miller, in our opening history, called this process doing theology publicly. But even after our hard work of wordsmithing, when we have created this collectively burnished lens that eloquently states our collective wisdom at present, what do we look at with that lens? I believe there are as many answers to that question as there are UUs in conversation. Our faith is most alive when we are in conversation, when we share our stories and truths with each other, when we witness each other, when we listen. Just as the Torah is not read alone in Jewish tradition, UUs need each other in our spiritual journey of meaning-making. The spaces between and amongst us are the intermediary for spirit to arise.
This reading is an excerpt from Constellation of Our Lives by Karen G. Johnston. Humans make maps of stars, choosing some stars and ignoring others, to project our imagination onto the heavens. These maps shift over time across cultures. Names change for the same assemblage of bright points: Drinking Gourd, Big Dipper, Plow, Lost Hunters. Humans make constellations by connecting stars. Humans make meaning by connecting stories, story to narrative to story. Some blaze bright, some are faint. Most are a backdrop to the great and mundane human unfolding. Let us imagine the story of our lives as a starry universe above our heads.
Astrologer Jessica Lanyadoo explains the difference between ideals and values, as ideals being the stars, while values are like the streetlights. Ideals are the faraway and brilliant everlasting stars that guide us across generations. Values are like the streetlights, which are also above our heads in the night sky, but are right here with us on Earth and occasionally need the bulb changed. As I said earlier at General Assembly, this year there was a vote to adopt the new revised values statement. This is us collectively changing the light bulb on our values. As you heard in the brief history earlier, this is far from the first and definitely not the last time we will swap out a light bulb to update and clarify our values. When we change out a physical light bulb, it's usually because one has stopped working, and so when we put in the new bulb, we get relief of things going back to normal. The light works again. When we change out the bulb on our values, it's a little more confusing. The old words for how we expressed our values are still around, and they often still have some light in them. But maybe they aren't the best fit for everyone who's gathered within UU now. Maybe the words are sexist, ableist, racist, or have become buzzwords for divisive and harmful communication. When our values stop helping us grow, heal, and connect, we can turn our focus back to the stars of our ideals. We go back to our wordsmithing, to seek new ways to express what we know is true. And eventually, through that careful process, we have a new expression of our values, a new light bulb. But we don't get the relief of things going back to normal. We get the exciting and possibly challenging prospect of something new. Maybe the new light bulb casts a different color light or shines more brightly. Things have changed. Yet, as Reverend Miller says, nothing's really going to be lost. It's that there will be new ways. Now, I'm using a word that is worth pausing to address, which is ideal. When I say ideal, I do not mean idealistic or perfect or perfectionism or holier than thou. Ideals are our version and felt sense of what is possible. Ideals are bigger than words. They are bigger than any one person's views or life, and all we can do is reach towards them as a guidepost by which we navigate. Just as humans have always traveled by following the stars, we cannot touch the stars, and yet they guide us. Unitarian Universalism is a faith tradition of people who covenant to witness and accompany each other in our separate but interwoven journeys, guided by what we know in our soul is possible. Though we will certainly pause to rest along the way, we are not meant to arrive at utopian perfectionism. We are invited to show up with willingness to change, guided by our ideals. This is what I think it means to live towards the beloved community. But wordsmithing, prophetic witness, and collaborative writing are just the beginning of our UU spiritual practices. Once we have polished a statement, whether it be a behavioral covenant, a statement of shared values, or a new anti-racism curriculum, what next? What do we do in the world with our words? This is our pious leap of faith in my understanding of Unitarian Universalism. Between the ideals in the sky as stars and the values on the ground as streetlights, there is a vast, open distance. We collectively leave space open for everything that is beyond words and can never be recorded or made precise. The statement of our values anchors us, but what we do, how we care for and challenge each other, how we live and work, play and dance, mourn and laugh, fight and pray towards the stars, that is our faith tradition. Grounded in love, our faith demands that we stretch together towards the stars, each in our own unique way. Let's take a moment for silent reflection.
I invite you to rise in body and or spirit, and let's sing the Unitarian Universalist Freebird, Blue Boat Home. You can get out your phone and light it up. Hymn number 1064.
Far away from the road.
If you are online and have a chalice or candle, please join me as we extinguish our chalice with the words of Mary Eres. Like the cosmic dust following after a great Perseid meteor, we are the living remnants of time and all that has come to pass in its wake. Briefly shining lights on the way to eternity, we are only visible to the naked eye for an instant. Take this moment to shine like the stardust you are. May the light of our time on earth shine to bless the world and each other. Shine, shine, shine. Go in peace, go in joy, go in love.